Well, hello there, and welcome back to Freeform Disney. It is finally time. Oh, and I'm Jeremy, by the way. But anyway, it is finally time. So this is the end of Star Wars Rebels. So it's going to be a long live stream today because it's 4 episodes, but the last one's like a double length, so it can be a long one too. Kind of an epic way to go finish it out, I suppose. So yeah, gonna be a big day. And let me see, there are a bunch of you over here in the chat already. Let's see. Hello there to Evie. Hello there to Mega Wyrex. Hello there to Dramsim. Hello there to Dodo Dureste. Hello there to Matthew Cordona. And hello there to Fabian. Okay. So yeah, big day today. Lots to go ahead and watch. And it won't be the last time I get to go ahead and show these up here, because there'll still be a couple other live streams up later. I mean, I'll have my whole ranking of all the characters. That'll come up in a little bit, another couple weeks. Like July 11th, I'll have the final character ranking. So I get to do that here a little bit later, and then also I'll do a Rebels retrospective, kind of like I did on Clone Wars, just a whole talk about the entirety of the series, and just give some of my thoughts on my favorite things here, and etc., etc. Check whatever questions all of you have, and that'll be like July 18th. So all of that's coming up as we finish up Rebels. And for those of you who are watching for the regular videos, I am well behind on that, but those will start coming out soon. And I'm going to try to get them all out over here over the next couple weeks so that they'll all be out before I do the character rankings. So that way, if you're watching those with me, you'll be caught up on my perspective there. A little out. I mean, heck, it's been a little bit. What would it be, 6 weeks ago now? Yeah, 6 weeks ago now, I guess, that I started into Season 4. Which, intriguingly, as I noted, I don't think I said it during the stream, but it looks like I started Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels on Mother's Day, and I'll end it here on Father's Day. Funny. So happy Mother's Day belatedly for the beginning of the season, and happy Father's Day here for the end of the season. And hello there, Sportan! So yeah, parent season. Yeah, something like that. Something like that indeed. Okay. So we will be starting up with, what episode is it? Episode 12. Wolves and a Door. Interesting title. Let's see. Hello there to Lord Vader. The first 2 episodes of this one here, starting with Wolves and a Door. Interesting, interesting. Good to hear. I like that. Evie. Oh, okay, you're going off of memory for him. Gotcha. Well, if you've seen him a few times, right? I don't think going off of memory would work very well for me right now. No memories to speak of. Not yet. Not yet. Let's see. What else do I have over here in the chat? Let's see. Evie, you said you're getting your father caught up on Bad Batch this afternoon. Oh, that's cool. That's going to be a fun run right there. Let's see. It is over already. Oh, Rebels. Yeah, for a few years. Yeah, 4 years or so, says Evie. Yeah, I know it's been a few, but this will be the last live stream where I'm watching new stuff. Won't be the last live stream for Rebels, because again, I'll have the character ranking in a couple weeks, also retrospective for it, and then I'll have the regular videos come out, but those aren't live. And Dram, you say you watched the last Bad Batch episode completely track. Jeez. Well, hey, that reveal, it breaks through even when everything else went ahead and didn't, right? It's a good reveal, too. Oh, man, that was a good moment there. Let's see. Matthew, so you're watching season 1 of Rebels. Whew. Definitely some catching up there. Or rewatching it, maybe. I'm whichever way it is. Let's see. Oh, Sportan, which episodes are we syncing? Starting with episode 12 today, Wolves and a Door. Oh, the Western music was so well done on Bad Batch there. I loved it. Man, that was good. Back to the original music and the music quality in the Star Wars animated shows that has gone up so much. So very much right there. Especially watching it all as closely as I have, having only started Clone Wars back last year. A little earlier than this time. A little over a year ago, I guess. So really I've gotten to go ahead and catch that progression a lot by doing it that way. Am I excited for Book of Boba Fett? Without a doubt. Without a doubt. As I said, coming up end of the year, so we're down to a half year at this point. Wow. It's getting there. And I'm also excited for Visions coming up. So we're going to get some more hints as to what the heck's going on with that coming up here in just a couple weeks. Because there's an online, I mean, it's online because of COVID, but anime convention where apparently there will be a panel for Visions in there. So, yeah. And I think I put the info over in the Bad Batch live stream last time. I think that's what I did. But yeah, that one's quite interesting as well. Because I ran into it over... Hang on, let's see. I can pop it up if anyone actually has an interest in it. Because apparently on July 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and also apparently available for replay afterward for anybody who has tickets, then you can go ahead and see the different panels, including that one. And they just take like a $5 donation, so I'll be going ahead and hitting that to go ahead and see, so I can go ahead and talk to all of you about what the heck happened in the panel on Visions. But if you're interested, I'll just toss it in there. And nothing I get out of putting that up there. So, just thought I'd mention it because I randomly ran into it. Well, not randomly. I said ran into it by... What did I run into it? Maybe it was a news thing or something. Notice on my phone, something of that nature. Let's see. Was Luca good? Yeah, Luca was enjoyable. Not one of Pixar's stronger, but then again, even the weaker Pixar still tends to be enjoyable. So it wasn't as Pixar-y in that they didn't really go out there and take some of the risks that Pixar would normally take. I think that might be one thing I'd say about it. Without jumping too much into it, because I don't want to go spoil it on here, because the odds of, that's not necessarily something people have seen yet. So yeah, but no, it's still enjoyable. And the animation was really good on it. Definitely top of the line for where Pixar's been on terms of animation. So certainly from that aspect. Let's see. Oh, I missed a couple other things in there. Yep. Missed a couple other things earlier. Other people talking about Kevin Kiner's evolution with all the music, getting the real orchestra in there. Oh, and that's really been making a comeback in terms of all kinds of different shows, in terms of actually having real orchestras and real orchestration. There was a time that wasn't the case. And there are certain things that have really helped with that. Intriguingly, Battlestar Galactica being one of those. Love Bear McCreary and his work, which he also went and did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too, but back at that point in time, there was barely anything that was being done that way. So it's been a big push over the last, what would that be, probably 15 years? That it's been building and building and coming back. But the music is so much better when it's done that way. Hope we get the scene unfinished between those two characters in Bad Batch. Yes, indeed. Me too. Me too. I know there's people debating whether they wanted it to be in Bad Batch or in live action, but I'm hoping Bad Batch. I think it fits there, but I wouldn't be against it happening in live action in a flashback. And really, I'm thinking season 2, though, of Bad Batch, not season 1. Need a new explanation for the dent in the helmet? Well, probably the same explanation would be my guess. Just at a different time. Let's see. Just waiting for it to be free on Disney Plus. Oh, it is. It is. So Luca is actually available free on Disney Plus. You know, assuming you have a Disney Plus subscription, of course, but it is. So that's what they've done with both of the Pixars, Soul and Luca. They just put up and available to everyone, unlike things like Raya and what they'll do with Black Widow and a number of other things. Seems like Pixar's get to go up and are free to everyone, but the rest of the things aren't. Other than Hamilton, I should say. So yeah, so you can't. I don't think there's a spot in the world that's different. I think that's just a general thing. So yeah. So you should be able to go watch that. Let's see. You were considering seeing it in the theaters, but been a busy month. Generally get to see 1 to 3 movies a month. Nice. Is that 1 to 3 movies in the theater each month? I mean, that is definitely well more than the number of movies I see in the theater. As far as movies in general, yeah. But in the theater, no. Okay, probably should get started on these at some point too, right? Yep, yeah. Yep, Soul and Luca, yep, on there without any waiting period on that. Okay. Let me go ahead and give the spiel for anybody who has not heard it before. If you have, well, hey, you get to hear it one more time because that's how it goes. So if you are new to the channel, and I don't think I've seen anybody in the chat that I don't recognize yet, but hey, you might be here and not have put something in the chat, or might be watching this well later. So in case you are, you're going to go ahead and pull up your copy over on Disney Plus, or because you own it, or you've downloaded it, or whatever the heck method you have the episode. Doesn't matter to me. And then I'll go ahead and count you on in, give you a 3, 2, 1, and then we'll both start it up. And then up above my head, I will have a timer, so that way if things get missynced for one reason or another, you will get to go ahead and resync it up to the watch I've got here, too. So there we go. Okay. Evie, you're saying 1 in theaters and 2 to 3 in general, other than summer months. Yeah. It's a lot of theater. Get to see, and I see a few things in theaters, to be sure, over the course of a normal year. I haven't had a normal year in a little while now, but not quite that often, not quite monthly. Okay. Alright, let's all get ready for episode 12 of season 4, which is Wolves and a Door. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Evie. I like to support theaters too. No disagreement with you on that. Okay. So everybody, I'm going to count you on in and we'll start into episode 12. So 3, 2, 1, go. Ever popular Lothcat to start up with here. It's a funky way to start. We say Lothcats like Lothwolves. Right from where we left off last, huh? Yeah, you guys get up north easily enough back to the normal city anyway. See, it's all good. So we're going to do another little bit of interesting transportation between the hemispheres. Ooh, 4 of them this time. At most, I think we only had 3 before. And not all the bright white this time either, huh? This one and the next are the most lore-expanding episodes in the entire show. Well, that's intriguing. We're really going to dig into the wolves here, huh? Evie, you're saying Yop Thrawn is the Thanos of the new shows. I think they really might go that direction, too. Really think they might. We just love Thoreau and the Lothcat Santa. Oh, Harris, the only one with goggles in here. Better prepared than the rest. There's where we transport her. Hey, look, I could have skipped that super quick little Rebels piece. I don't remember seeing that on the other ones here. Going way back here to the beginning. All the way back to here. Now we're at the end of season 1. having fun going through the show here. I like it. Yeah, interesting. They all heard it. Interesting the wolves aren't coming with. Yeah, it's an interesting question raised from the first time, too. It's just nothing we've really seen before. What am I missing here? Yep, interested to see my opinion on that. Let's see. Oh, I think I see. Dram asked, is Cat or Grievous the first one who said hello there in canon? Oh, okay. Because Clone Wars goes and screws with that, potentially. That's interesting. Man, heck if I know for sure off the top of my head. Interesting question. Of course, then we'd have to add books and comics, too, potentially, in there. See you in a bit there, Evie. Speaking of music, this is fun at least. Speaking of callbacks, by the way, since that was a callback to the end of 3 right there. So who would this be? Ezra and Hera then? Not Ezra and Sabine. It's an interesting new character. Have fun with those voices. Oh yeah, I had that too, Swartan. Does he actually need to show his face? Ooh, you can actually hear Pal. Yeah, if you get a direct line to Palpatine, you're pretty well up there. Ah, yeah, that was exactly who that was right there. The father. So is he a Sith acolyte or something like that? Is it Ian McDermott himself? It definitely, yeah. The voice sounded good. Nice. Wow. Can you really see that in a more full sense there? But yeah, just the trio. Kind of short for a stormtrooper. This music feels reminiscent of Raiders of the Lost Ark a little bit. And it just where we have the Ark music and we're near that mystery. Anyway. I'm guessing it's intentional too. Ever popular easy codes to go ahead and figure out how to open doors? I swear shows and movies often make it easy. Oh, no kidding, Dram. That very submissive Trandoshan? Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting how this isn't under the military jurisdiction. Back to what Palpatine's doing here, right? You know, Ezra, if you would just go ahead and use a little force suggestion here, it would be nice. uh, that's cool. Yeah, Dram. Agreed. Exactly. Yeah, found your doorway. Wolves and a door. uh, Maybe don't leave the helmet right outside if you're about to walk through. You'd really leave the helmet right there. Come on, Ezra. Grab the helmet. Yeah, I saw that coming. I really thought the helmet was going to be how they figured out where he went, but never mind, they caught him before that anyway. Nice, nice. Interesting. We'll see where we're going with all this right here. Right here. Let's see. Dram, the way they use the 2D movements in the 3D environment. Yes, yes, agreed. It was really nicely done. Being that you get to get away with it because you got the cave paintings like that. Yeah, it's nice. Agreed. Interesting, interesting. Let's see where we're going here. So we have gone through the doorway. Doorway the Emperor would like to go through, huh? A world between worlds. I've heard reference to this episode. While keeping as much as I can to not catching spoilers on this one, but I have heard reference to it. Let's see, can you get something to eat? I don't know, can you? I would imagine you probably can. You asking for a couple minutes? Is that what you're asking for, Dram? Well, anyway, let's see. Dodo, did I think they would ever they would use the Mortis gods ever again? Like within a show? I mean, I had no reason. Yeah, no expectation. Didn't catch any spoilers on the Mortis gods popping back in or anything either, so no. I mean, it's one that I wouldn't be surprised to see pop back up maybe into a book or comics or something, but the show is probably less so. Just, yeah. Might want to pay attention to the audio in the beginning. Well, that's interesting. Are going to be some kind of music references back to the Mortis arc or something? I'm not sure. I mean, the Mortis arc was so early in Clone Wars, so I'm not sure what the music was as I'm thinking about it at this point. I mean, I've only watched it way, way back then, so it's been probably on the better part of a year at this point. Oh, hey, hello there to Gyroscope. You say you might want to put subtitles for this next episode. Oh, really? Interesting, interesting, okay. Fair enough. I will go ahead and do that then. Being that since I'm live streaming with all of you, it's not like I can rewind if I miss a point, something I might be able to do otherwise, but I will go ahead and take that suggestion and put subtitles on. Definitely thank you for that suggestion. But no, as to the Mortis gods, no, I wouldn't have expected them to pop back up into a show or anything, or new movie or whatever, but as I said, books and comics wouldn't have surprised me. Just where it feels like. Meg Wyrex, you say it's a highlight of Rebels coming up here? Well, I mean, we've been building this up for quite a while here with the Loth Wolves over these last number of episodes, so this is clearly where this is going to. And again, I've heard reference to this episode. Without knowing... Dram's back! Good. But yeah, I mean, the references I've heard... Actually, I mean, maybe somebody's watching this for the first time with me. That's possible. Maybe I shouldn't even mention... I'll say it afterward. Yeah. It's like not much, but a little bit. Okay. Well, I think everybody is ready. I'm ready. Let's go ahead and finish up this little two-parter thingy-majigger. And watch A World Between Worlds. Alright, so on 3, 2, 1, go. Back to episode 2. And wow. Yeah, and that was jumping back to Mortis. And now we're at 5. Oh, which one is that one from? That's 3. That was our great little one in Rebels with Obi. Is that back in 2? I think that was 2. I think that was him talking to the Grand Inquisitor, who was not Grand Inquisitor in 2, right? In the temple, maybe? Well, we're up to 4 now. We're having fun jumping things from all around in here, huh? His voice seems more like a little more toward Malcolm McDowell style. You pronounced it Caleb, not Caleb. Interesting. Is that how the name's pronounced? Would it be universe or, if it's time, could it be a multiverse? That is one reference I've heard. Is that I heard the reference that this would be an episode that would create a reason or an excuse to be able to have an alternate universe. That's what I know about it. But beyond that. But if you can mess around with time. But again, Star Wars has never had multiverse anyway, so. Never had time travel either, though. Wow. We jumped into the sequel trilogy right there. It'd be cool if we had like some coder in here or something from Old Republic. Just toss in some things that we don't know, too, that may be way in the future or way in the past. Considering the relevance here. What is the name? M name, right? Hmm. Hmm. Yo. That's cool. And screwy at the same time. Lady Wren. That's been having fun with that. Man, she actually gave you a little info, and you don't let her keep running with that? Hmm. So at this point, we've changed the past, I take it? I mean, if it had looked like she died back there, I would see this meaning more. But at least from the visual I saw, she walked out of the temple. Speaking of continuing to jump things from elsewhere. By the way, seen Ahsoka again at school. Well, now you have somebody that can tell you a little more about the whole the father, the daughter, and the son, huh? His father knows? That's the wording. I know that we use sister brother, right? Yeah. Hey, that's the name of the episode. Oh. So why is the Loth Wolf called Doom? I mean, it is just, canon Kate/Caleb, right? Not really. You pull him there, it screws with things. Because you pull him, then you yourself die, no? I mean, the timing would have to be so bloody exact right after he force shoves, but right before he blows up. To pull him in, that's a tricky timing. The power to stop others from dying. Oh, that would have been a fun one to put up on there, too. Save fives, don't save canon. How does Ahsoka know that? How in the world does she know that? Is it possible to learn that power? Not from a Jedi. But we'll take it as Ahsoka's connection to the Force that she goes ahead and knows what the heck happened there. Yeah. See, as the life force of one of the beings that were part of the entrance. Yeah, there's that. That could definitely work too. That's a problem. By the way, Palpatine with the fire burning definitely is reminiscent of what was it? It was Yoda's arc over in Clone Wars. Or yeah, it was that arc. Season 6, episode 13, you're saying, Jerem. Yeah, I could believe that in about the right time. Yeah. Yep, with Dooku in there. Sith magic. Indeed, indeed. Moribond must have had very cool fire parties. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting you comment on the overpowering. I mean, between that, but it's not that she's out of power or drained here. And the way she's holding herself is interesting too. But she just came from the big fight with Vader, though, at the same time, based on where he pulled her out of. So she would be drained from that fight too, wouldn't you? Ah, and this brings her back and where we see her walk out the door. Okay. Remember the promise you just made to Ezra? Interesting. No, jeez. Ah, it's cool watching that. Yeah, the music's nice. Agreed. Not so much for him. Nice closing note. Nice. Very nice, very nice. Let's see. As I keep listening to the music here in the end credits, too. Speaking of music. That was nice. Definitely that was nice. Let's see. What do we got from all of you in here? Catch up on some of what all of you said here. What if Visions has this painting style? Who knows exactly what the styles? I expect it'll probably be a few different styles. I said some great anime art styles out there, and a bunch of different types of what we could see. Let's see. Details of Hera keeping her hand on her shoulder. Yeah. Back to... Was it actually... It was this way, actually. Yeah. Kanan's hand. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So you... Oh, and hey, hello there to John W. Kindig. You say that it is the biggest and best emotional roller coaster you've ever seen in Star Wars. Wow. Yeah, Lost Your Mind was released. I mean, but all of you have also said that ending of season 2, that Ahsoka wasn't walking out, or that you couldn't see that or something. So, for everyone else, I mean, Ahsoka was dead at that point, right? I mean, not for me, because... Well, obviously, first off, Mandalorian, but then also when I saw that, I saw her walk out. The very piece we saw at the end. But I know some of you were saying that was changed afterwards to be able to see that. Yeah. I mean, because that would change the feel of this incredibly, just because, I mean, oh, look, she's alive again. Funky. It's still screwy that you go back and change how the season 2 finale actually has that last little piece with Ahsoka. The Ahsoka series logo looks like the world between worlds. Oh, okay, I can see that. Just trying to pull it up in my head. Oh, let me kill the timer here. But yeah, now that you say that sounds familiar. Hang on. Ahsoka series logo. Oh yeah, no kidding. No kidding, it does. I mean, heck, let's Just for anybody else, I will do this. If I put this up over here. Yeah. Pop that up. It's like, yeah, no kidding, it does. I didn't have any idea what the heck that was about before. Okay, now I have an understanding as to why they went with the style they did on that. It's like, oh, very interesting. Oh, interesting, John. You're saying you matched up to the shot in Rebels there. It's exactly 1-to-1 rotated. But it's like, yeah, now that you say that, yeah, no kidding. I mean, not that would have meant anything to me before, of course. Gotcha. Nice. Okay, that's cool. And let's see. Let me jump back here. Let's see if I pay attention to Mariah, made an appearance at Ahsoka. Yep, I remember that. Yeah. Let's see. Disney Plus has been edited probably because everyone watches Mandalorian first, and I would have preferred they hadn't, but that's my opinion. So I would have preferred they hadn't gone ahead and edited and showed it that way. And then comes Filoni's shirt. Filoni's shirt? What do you mean Filoni's shirt? Someone's gonna have to tell me what that is a reference to. I'm not sure. Even at 320, there's a focus on something similar. Probably talking about this right here, something similar to that. Oh, and hey, hello there to Skittis or Citus. I'm gonna get. It's probably one of those two. Let's go with Citus. More like a scepter or something. I'll go that way. So Citus. Let's see. Crazy that Ahsoka fought multiple Inquisitors, Maul, Vader, and Sidious within a few hours at most. Yeah, you'd be a little exhausted after that. It's like, dang. Yeah, and you heard voices from every piece of Star Wars there. Yeah. So I was catching a good few of those, popping in and around, up until the point of when it was released. And not the video games. Although those would be legends at that point anyway. Yeah, anyway. Ahsoka lives? Ahsoka lives. Oh, Filoni's shirt is a reference to Ahsoka Lives, maybe? I'm gonna go look at that. Pop that off right there. You don't need to see me searching for that. Filoni shirt Ahsoka Lives. It looks like something like this here. So he had an Ahsoka Lives question mark shirt at the 2017 Star Wars Celebration, and then wherever the other one is over here, he then had it with an exclamation point, probably after the episode aired, I'm guessing. Well, it's Filoni about Ahsoka has to live, right? Man, that would be a difference, though. I mean, it's a little trickier this other way, because then you're going, why hasn't Ahsoka popped back up based off of my watching? I mean, with this known in the timeline, it makes sense why Ahsoka hasn't shown her face in the last 2 seasons. But without this, it's a little more of a question of why, since clearly she walked out of the temple, which is something I watched happen, it was a little odder that Ahsoka didn't pop back up, that she just decided to go and become a hermit for the hell of it. So, but this makes a hell of a lot more sense. So I think that's the other half of why I would have preferred that it had been changed and shown differently. Yeah. And not changed, I guess, as the case is. Oh, and Gyroscope, you say you watched the season 2 finale when it first appeared, and you remember Ahsoka walking down the Sith Temple. Okay. So it was there at first. Okay. Interesting, John. Interesting. Oh, it's the same day. Oh, okay. So at the Star Wars Celebration, you start with one shirt and switch to the other later. Gotcha. Oh, interesting. Looked like she was falling down the stairs, maybe dead or injured as far as the season 2 finale. Oh, interesting. Huh. Gotcha. So you couldn't tell exactly what was going on, maybe. Interesting. Gotcha. Interesting. Ha! I was right. It was Malcolm McDowell. I wasn't sure if it was Malcolm McDowell or just somebody doing something that was more Malcolm McDowell-ish as an impression. Oh, that's cool. I just looked it up. I had to ask, curious whether that was Malcolm McDowell or not. Oh, apparently the person's name was Varys Hayden. the guy who was in charge of the dig site or whatever there. So it was Malcolm McDowell playing that part. Oh, that's cool. It's like, wasn't sure. Certainly sounded like him. So, one thing that this does, which is interesting, in a way that doesn't exist in Star Wars before. Time travel was never, as odd as it is, science fiction. We can argue whether... I mean, yes, we can argue whether Star Wars originally is really science fiction or a space-based fantasy, but that's another matter entirely. But Star Wars generally doesn't mess with time travel at all. There's not alternate universes. There isn't time travel. Neither of those ones just pop up. This changes that. I mean, this makes it canon that time travel exists within Star Wars. And yes, we can argue what happened in the original Mortis arc and whether time travel is involved in that. I think with this, retroactively, one would say time travel's there, and that's why there was a weird time thing. I mean, we have time condensing, and we have weird things like time passes slower here and time passes faster here. I grant that, but not truly time travel within Star Wars. Let's see. Dram saying time travel in Star Wars is like in Harry Potter. You can't change the past. It's a popular form of time travel. But again, there's not a lot on it here. If this is all there is to go on, you have a lot of flexibility to say whatever the heck you want. I wonder if that's something that George ever brought up to Filoni, with the World Between Worlds. Do not know. Interesting question. I mean, I can see why this is also... I mean, if you say time could change or branch or whatever, I mean, you could obviously use this episode to go change things, make alternate universes, etc., etc. You could bring the EU as just an alternate universe. Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, I know Star Wars is generally not done with alternate timelines. I still think that was the right way to have dealt with the EU in the first place, though. So it was my opinion. But if you go out, you're in the same time place you left. Interesting. Maybe. Or close to, a little later in time. Gyroscope says it's still unknown what Ahsoka did after the temple went down. Only showed ambiguous cards that Dave Filoni illustrated. Oh, in a book Forgotten Sith Tribe, we have a time-traveling ship. Oh, interesting. It emerges at 40 ABY and contains Sith of Nagasado. Well, that's interesting. And is that current? That's not old EU, right? I don't remember old EU having it, but of course, I don't know everything of old EU now, do I? The Lost Tribe of the Sith. Originally published in 2012. That one? Well, if that's the case, then that would not currently be canon, right? Because it's pre-2015. Oh, all kinds of trickiness. What a mess. There are a lot of stories. There are a ton of stories. So, okay, so the old EU did actually bring time travel in there. Interesting. All kinds of fun you can have once you bring in time travel, and all kinds of real big screwiness. The world between worlds, huh? Interesting. So that means Ahsoka's going to pop up here in the next episode or two, right? Or is it just more reference to what we're going to have to do in the live actions? I can see either, I suppose. Grab some water here as we get ready to go head toward the next one. Maybe weird for Ahsoka not to pop into the next ones after we bring her back there and say, hey, I'll find you after this. Be a little weird for her not to show up after that. So what is the next one? A Fool's Hope is the next one, huh? Interesting. A Fool's Hope. Perhaps. Get the timers and everything ready here. So I'm ready to go pop in the next one. So if you're going to ask my opinion on all this, I don't know. I still don't know what I think about our Loth Wolves and everything else we've been doing here. But we're not done with it yet. So, I mean, clearly Ezra alluded to what else he needs to do, so maybe we're not quite done with that yet. So it's like I feel like I still can't quite fully evaluate that. Evaluate that. If I can speak. Enunciate, Jeremy. Enunciate. But anywho, yeah, so I think I'll finish making comments later after we see where this is going still. Until then, obviously we destroyed the temple. That kind of feels like where a lot of that was headed, but maybe there's still a little more. Or maybe it's just go ahead and destroy those TIE defenders. And that's about it. Any which rate, let us head into episode 14, A Fool's Hope. So I'm going to go ahead and start that on up. So we'll go ahead and get rolling in 3, 2, 1, go. No Phantom 2 in there. Hey, we got people back in here. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, we're connecting forward with our clones here. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Yep, here's Commander Wolf. Okay. It's like as soon as it was a walker down there one, I was like, yeah, we're clearly connecting forward. Here's Gregor. Oh, and, what's her name? And Hondo. Hey, we're bringing everybody in for the finale here. Rex's outfit is fun. Oh, this goes back to that whole theory of Rex being in Return of the Jedi, right? Is that part of that too? Yeah, yeah. Hondo Hondo got some loyalty out there. Strongly pointed at, that's for sure. Yeah. Speaking of bringing people back in for the finale. Look at everyone popping in here. Is it a different voice doing writer? Huh. That looks like right where we had the office. Yeah. Kind of straightforward, isn't this? Oh, I mean, I believe that he's really betraying them. One more Carabast for us here. Nice shot of Zeb, by the way. Hey, his new character. Probably just to get killed, but I do like my jetpack troopers. Feel it very rebels. We didn't destroy the ships or kill the people on board. Just a bit of disabling. That one we blew up. Nice. Nice, for sleep. Can't shoot a droid. You're failing bad, man. Yo. Bit of a blockade. Not as many Star Destroyers as before, I don't think. No, let's see. And all of Rebels Chopper has the highest kill count. And Dram, you say, love to find out what happened to Katuni in a Hondo show or something. Yes, me too. It's an interesting set of questions, but I mean, you could certainly argue if something happened to Katuni after the two had known each other a bit longer, that would give Hondo all the more a soft spot for Ezra right there. No. Even better. Katuni is Ezra's mother. Changed names, went into hiding. Ah? That's why Hondo has a soft spot for Ezra, is because Katuni's his mother? I'm just saying. Although I think that probably doesn't work, because I think we did see an image of the parents, right? Yeah, but, I mean, look, Obi-Wan made himself look completely different back in a Clone Wars episode. See? Assuming the interspecies breeding would be just fine, then all you had to do was do some facial restructuring to make yourself look different, right? Oh, would it have to be that far back? Ezra was born that long ago, wasn't he? Dang. Oh, well. Yeah, you're right. The timeline doesn't work, does it? Darn. Hello there, Kevin. I was born in the day Order 66, yeah. Alright, never mind then. Well, she got pulled into the world between worlds, aged up a little bit, then came back out. Oh, interesting. Hondo called his ship the Katuni later on? Was that in the show and I just am not remembering it, or is that a book or something? Hmm. A little rebellion music there. Oh, part of Galaxy's Edge. Oh, interesting. Okay. Which is considered to be canon to my knowledge, so. I can't kill him that easily, right? Zeb's jumping ability. Impressive. Yeah, a bit of a bad position there. Yeah, kind of obviously. If you wanted somebody to potentially at least make it a believable feint that they betrayed him, it needed to be somebody who was a little more morally gray than that. Better question is why the heck she fell for it, but. Nah, Price started out better, but certainly over even 3, into 4, it's like she just kind of went down because it seemed like she needed to be the one that took the falls, so that way Thrawn didn't take them. That's a fun shot. Interesting way to give Rook a potential death, but then you'll be able to bring him back in later, huh? I'll say you got really lucky that none of your named people actually got killed over the course of this, though. Faint or not. It would have given the Faint more weight, though, if somebody had actually died during the course of it. Just for the cost of what your battle meant. It's a fun fight, though, nonetheless. The music's good, to be sure. Nah. Yeah, that's bad. Yes, Wolves capturing stormtroopers. Well, they're doing an impressive job of only knocking them out if they're up on here, or tossing them off so we don't get to see their deaths. They're really considerate about that for the audience. Well, now her failure is complete. And those wolves, wherever they are. In other words, finale time. Excuse me. That was a fine episode, sure. Did what it needed to do, finished the setup for the finale itself. Brought in a number of characters we get to see again, finally. We brought in Gregor and Wolf and Ketsu and Hondo. Well, I guess the others were already on Lothal. So but I guess a reminder of them since we hadn't really talked much about those characters the last couple. The nephew, I can't remember his name, as well as shoot, the one from really early on. Yeah, anyway, those two as well. If I Google Captain Rex episode 6, there are comparison pictures. Yeah, I can get the idea from just looking at them there. It's like I can see that. And got to see Hondo's soft side. Yeah, see a little more of that there. What did you miss? Well, just finished the penultimate episode of Rebels. So one last episode to go. So that will be episode 15, which is titled Family Reunion and Farewell. The final episode of Star Wars Rebels. Let's see, sports, and yeah, there's an episode of Forces of Destiny where Rex is next to Han. Oh, that's cool. Forces of Destiny. Is that short little thing they did? I think. Very cool, very cool. But yeah, no, they'll talk about Gatuni and whatnot. That would be fun to see what the heck happens, because that's an interesting giant question mark. Knowing Filoni would find a way to bring them back in somewhere at some point. When or how, I don't know, but I could definitely see it happen. Rex Return to the Jedi now. It'll probably pop up in the Ahsoka show somehow, right? Is it old man Rex? So we really are all the way here, huh? This is the finale of Rebels. Finishing up Clone Wars, finishing up Rebels. It's weird to have the show finishing up without Kanan around. I admit that. It feels odd. Of course, I expected Season 4 not to have Sabine in it, too, so... it would have been even more that way. Dave, good old retcons. Yeah. I think my comment there, he literally is Lucas's protege in that sense, too. Okay. Well, let us jump into the finale itself and see where we end up finishing going. Okay, so episode 15, Family Reunion and Farewell. So in 3, 2, 1, go. The end of Star Wars Rebels. Parting to such sweet sorrow. Speaking of Ezra's parents. Katootie. Yeah, giraffe. Nice way of opening the finale, by the way, and callback references too. Nice. It's like there's a number of people I'm curious what happens to them in the years after this and where they go. Never mind, she hadn't fallen as far as she could. Now she's fallen as far as she could. Her failure wasn't quite complete. I don't know that the lies are necessarily that bad there, Rex, but dang. Ever popular not killing right there. Yo. It's impressive. I love the extra shot after they're both hit. Man, once you're in the stormtrooper outfit, it's just hard to see, right? uh, funny, except a very Earth reference here on Pigs Can Fly. Does that would give a little trouble for Wrecker in arm wrestling? Nah, I think Wrecker would probably have him pretty well. Yeah, you're right, John. It is fun even, so. Kevin, yeah, Resistance is somewhere up in the future, that's for sure. Also, the other Clone Wars series. That one as well. Yeah, there's Rook, speaking of. Don't worry, we'll have a little more Rook action in the finale. So, will we get to see him and all here? Ah, here we go. Funny. My timing was really bad on that. But really good, depending on how you look at it. Yeah. I mean, it's what a confirmation codes, right? Oh, Spartan. Yeah, I see that. I still find out they shot at him through a window when they know that it wouldn't work. Yeah, a little bit. Little bit. Yeah. Interesting new executive order at that point in time. Yeah. Another Carabast. Gotta get the Carabast in there. Might be the last one. I don't know that he failed as much, considering he wasn't there. Which is kind of the point. Yes, Gyroscope, exactly. Ezra, we beat you with our plan. That's cute. Would you like to surrender now or later? We're getting ready for final goodbyes, aren't we? Music's beautiful in this. Beautifully done with the music. Kind of goosebumps on the music there. It's like. It's interesting he's going without his lightsaber, though, too. Love the music. Changing our emotional beat now. Back to action now. It's an interesting reference back, and to the Clone Wars, too. say even his references to a lot more than we have often admitted to. Which is more in line with, say, legends and such. Hello. Interesting. He looks rather fresh and young, relatively. Fair enough on the joke. Kind of a little late for all that. Oh, Kevin. Well, he is a little. Ezra is a little poorly restrained for a Jedi, but that's a different matter. Agreed, Gyroscope. Definitely hoping Thrawn's theme will return in future Star Wars content. You know, say maybe an Ahsoka series or something. The Echo joke all over again, yes. Not a who, but a what? We call him the Bendu? Trying to figure that out, because again, waiting for Ahsoka to pop up, not sure where that's coming, but that would be a who or what thing. But maybe the Bendu. You could argue that's a what. I think it should still call it a who, though. Not sure how much good that would do, though, either. I was gonna say, Rook, you should have just destroyed the bloody thing so it couldn't be brought back up, even if they retake it. Why make yourself appear this way? I mean, heck, Ezra saw him just recently anyway. And he's dressed all in white, indeed. Ah, don't worry, they can't shoot worth a dang. Open the blast door, open the blast door. Oh. See, again, if only Rookie had disabled the dang thing instead of just turning it off. Sorry, Bridger's up on the ship. Hello there, Git Girl. Welcome in for a moment. On the last 15-20 minutes of the finale here. By the way, this would argue a different interpretation of time here in Star Wars and time travel. Not just it has to be because it already happened, but the ability to actually change it. Either that or the Emperor's wrong. Yes, multiverse definitely one possibility there. Aw. Like sacrificed a few people, probably. No? Get to see a Rook Zeb fight here a little bit later, huh? I mean, if someone was going to die, Gregor was the obvious, right? But still, that's not a kill shot over here, so... Galaxy. Speaking of the powers of Palpatine, right? Lothal is like way over here in the galaxy. Coruscant is over here. One assumes he's on Coruscant at the moment. So he just undid Ezra's handcuffs from way the heck over here. Dang. Speaking of those powers. So we've, on a number of occasions, made his powers incredibly impressive, what he can do from a distance. His last lesson that he was taught while he was over in the world between worlds, right? The ability to let his loved ones go. Be prepared to lose everything you hold dear. He actually took Yoda's lesson, huh? Now we got a real fight over here, huh? Yo. That's different. Nicely done, Ezra. Valve's even has guards for his hologram. Funny drip. Wish they didn't shoot sometimes. Kevin. Said the other time. I think not just putting that randomly in there, okay? Just don't think it creates a good environment to be doing that, jokingly or not. Don't worry, it's Rebels, no one does. Oh, the shooting when Ezra is held midair? Yeah. Definitely have enjoyed it so far there, Geek Girl. Definitely. Yeah, Rick was a bit of a joke here in Rebels. Disappointingly. But we do kill Gregor off, though. Yeah, I got that, Kevin, but still, only the people that understand that from you is, and not everyone does, so I think it's far better not to. Palian. Cool, cool. I always pronounce it more Palian than Palian. Interesting. Now bringing these back in. Oh, right. On the. Gotcha. On frequency 0. Since that attracts them. Clever. It's like it's clever. I mean, it's a bloody mess, and I think you'd still have a lot of things you could do, right? But it's like, okay. It's a callback reference and whatnot. Thank goodness they were close enough that they could get there fast, huh? Although the flip side, you almost go. So in episode 6, Return of the Jedi, why didn't we just go ahead and call all of those to Endor? I mean, that would have made it really easy, right? I don't like telling other people my plans because then they might have a better chance of working. Nah, the surprise there is actually just a really bad piece of leadership. Nice note. I have some questions about hyperspace at this point, considering that whole viewport is open to space at that point. True, glass and air, he is holding everything up. I could see that. Got a good point there, John. It's a nice way of taking out Ezra so we don't have a Jedi around, too, huh? Although, you know, a Jedi who's actively with the rebellion, I should say. Ahsoka aside, anyway. Music in here. Last little bit of fireworks here. Yeah, respect the way she goes out, at least, I suppose. I'll catch it on your chat in a moment here. I mean, I imagine the response of the Empire to this is not exactly very positive, shall we say. Maybe nice cheering at the moment, but one last piece here. Whoa, speaking of different hairstyles, yo. And also the blue one, this over here. Jason spelled how? Is that a reference to bringing back in Legends in a way? Not twins, though. Cool. I have seen an image of her like that before. Wow, look at her helmet design, too. Very different color. Cool. Well, this clearly ties Sabine into what Ahsoka's doing later. Okay, okay. Nice. Nice bit of artwork there. So Ahsoka did come in the finale, kind of, like years later. Yes, that music indeed. Well, that's a shift, isn't it? No kidding why there was so much speculation on it. Dang. Just like it, really, in that sense, it's interesting we saw Ahsoka, but not Sabine, really. Man, the music goes out with a bang. Definitely the music goes out with a bang. Yeah. So, interesting side note, Commander Wolf is still alive at the end of this, too. That's interesting. Should have had a 5th season? Nah, I mean, that kind of was it right there. If you mean that it would have been planned that this would have been the end of 5 instead and had more time, okay. But there's just no space for anything else here. Let's see, what all did I miss? I said I missed a good bit during those last few minutes of the finale here. Filoni said that this can be before or after men. Oh, right. I remember Filoni was talking some funky stuff as to timing and whatnot on things, so. Sure, it could take place after Ahsoka's appearance in Mando. That would actually make more sense as I think about it, right? Because she didn't know where Thrawn was as much until the encounter in Mandalorian, so she does that, heads there, then she comes back this way. Yeah, okay, I see that. I can see that. Oh, hello there, Grumpy Dad. But yeah, no, I can see that being the timing. That makes more sense. John, you say, glad I'm caught up on everything important finally. Resistance is but yeah, I'll probably watch it here at some point. I'm thinking the other Clone Wars before that. But yeah, let's see. I'll be honest, I'm not happy with the fact that Lothal never got any kind of retribution from the Empire. It doesn't fit for me. The Empire as it was, and this is a little before the first the first Death Star gets blown up, or a little before that at this point in time. I don't see that Empire, and even just right after that, not lashing back at Lothal. The last thing you want to do is let that be a symbol that the Empire can be rebelled against. So I have problems there, but that's okay. The other thing I'll say I have problems with from that is it is heavily implied that Sabine largely stays around Lothal, and that feels weird to me. Not going back to Mandalore. I mean, the fact that she left Mandalore early in the season anyway is weird, but it leaves it open. So, I mean, we could argue that that's not what happened, and I think I might go more that direction, maybe. So, I mean, otherwise, I don't have much negatives here. Just a couple things I'm like, maybe that'll get retconned somewhere in the future. I can see it get retconned in the future. And Kanan's a father. That's interesting. I'm intrigued. I should subtitle how the heck they choose to spell Jason in that. That's why I was going, hey, you know, if it was twins, you could have made it Jason and Jaina and, like, kind of done your odd way of bringing them back into canon, but as someone else's kids. Which would have been intriguing. But I'm wondering, you know, I'm curious, you know, what way they spelled Jason in there. Is it? Oh, it is Jason, Jacen. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, so it is spelled that way. Interesting. Oh, if they'd made it twins, though, in Jason and Jaina, now that would have been intriguing in its own right. Yeah, well. Gotta have a few differences considering there. So is that a reference? Is that intentionally done that way? I mean, kid of one Jedi and not a Jedi on the other hand? I mean, flipping it around. Let's see. To do. Oh, John, you're saying the lost Thrawn entire fleet in garrison without any survivors? What is it? Yeah. Okay, fine. If we have to get into that one, the space creatures gets a little messy, to say the least. If we can just call them anywhere to go destroy a fleet, I mean, there's so many more uses that we could have brought them back in on. It's just an ugly one to bring in because of what it implies that we could do. Let's see. Sabine and Ahsoka are just meeting there to start the search. Yeah. Which again, I could see the timing being that's post-Mando. I think that's where I fit that one better. Let's see. Oh, Sports Anfield, they would just bombard it. Yeah, no, agreed. I think that's exactly what they would have gone and done to Lothal after that. Just blown it to hell. Just bombard the heck out of it. Let's see. Jumping up a little earlier. I'm still curious on a number of characters what they do in this period of time after the end of Rebels here. Because we don't know a lot of it, really. I mean, there's a lot of opening to go a lot of different directions for him. Hera, we have some more idea because she's popped in. I don't know if she popped into books, but at the very least she popped into Star Wars Squadrons as a general in there. Hera's wearing similar clothes that she wore in Squadrons. Yes, you're right. Yeah, let's see the speculation, the music, the ending. Kanan and Hera had their private moments. Indeed, they did. The show seemed to want to go both ways on that here in the last season, which was interesting, but indeed. Let's see. Here we go. Rook was a joke. Okay, I remember responding to that. I'll come down from there. Thing with Ron is you always need a Deus Ex Machina to defeat him without making him look weak. I mean, there are other ways to do it, but yeah. Certainly how they went about it here. Let's see. Thrawn's weakness being the unexpected, like you were saying in the comment, the other spot. Yep. see your defeat, and you are surrounded by many arms. Ah, right. I do remember Bendu saying that. Ah, that's clever. Okay, I see. Nice. Ah, like many arms in a cold embrace. Yeah. In a cold embrace, huh? Out in space? Hyperspace? Pretty much the setup for the Ahsoka show. Yeah, agreed. Let's see. And we know Thrawn worked with Jedi before. Let's see. Rumors since Ahsoka was looking for Thrawn. Yeah. Dram. Something on price gets a lot. Cutler Beckett death. I am thinking there's some autocorrect in there, and I am not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. A Lord Cutler Beckett death. Assuming, let's see, a lot. Cooler, better death? I don't know. I'm not sure where to go with that. It looks like it autocorrected something there. And price won't be missed, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, I think I caught most of that in there now. Alright, now back to what I just missed at the end spot there. Cutler Beckett, Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, okay. Whoa, my brain was not going there at all. Yeah, you're right. My brain was not heading there at all for Pirates of the Caribbean. Cutler Beckett. To be honest, I would not have known that by name if I didn't just go ahead and do a Googling of that. Not a name I have in my head there very well. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Got it. Let's see. The one who controlled them, Ezra, is gone? Sure, but the signal was not that Ezra had to be doing anything. It was just sent as a signal, and they responded to the signal. So I think you could still have the space whales come off and do whatever and just go hit and bombard because they run into it. Ezra is only doing something after they actually come out of hyperspace. So I think you could still go ahead and make use of them, if not as effectively as Ezra can. And Get Girl's gotta go. So catch you next time around. And in the comments, it sounds like, too, because you're gonna drop some more stuff on things Dave said about World Between Worlds. Okay, good. I look forward to that. All kinds of extra stuff. It seems Dave Filoni definitely adds a good bit about some of the different episodes, so I'm sure there's more to say about that. Look forward to that. Hera and Rex at least were active since they fought at Endor and stuff. Yes. I think the head canon on Rex there, and the implied canon, shall we say. Let's call it implied canon that's Rex at Endor. The 5th season thing, I think I responded to that already, didn't I? I think I did. Let's see, in this episode, Thrawn made a lot of things he probably would not do in the new books, because he always tries to save as many lives as he can on both sides. Yeah, I mean, killing people to kill people is not generally the MO I'm used to on Thrawn. Obviously, there's other things going on. Filoni said he wanted to end it at the end of the 4th season. Well, I mean, it clearly has its arc and finishes through here. It clearly leads on to something as a follow-up, but it's not Rebels. It's something else. Which he's going to get to finally do as a follow-up, too, for that matter. Guessing it's a given that we'll see Sabine with Ahsoka. That sounds like a pretty good given right there. I suppose that's why we won't see Sabine with Mandalorian stuff right there, because she's kind of got something else to do first. A super duper old Rex, maybe. Remember a lot of speculation on Rex popping up as a really old person for Mandalorian. I do remember that. I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I had heard, plenty of speculation on Jedi popping up. Kanan not popping up into any of that speculation had made it so I assumed something probably happened to him. Watch Nicholas Domini Rebels Season 4, how it should have ended. Well, interesting. Someone else doing it, how it should have ended there. Even with the titling being the same kind of titling. Cool. I might check that out at some point. Rex would be in his 80s? Well, I don't know. I mean, clones are a mess in the first place. He wouldn't be 80s. I mean, it's not that much time between, because we're only 5 years post Return of the Jedi. So. But the trick is that clones are artificially accelerated in their growth in the first place, and that screws on lots of other things there. So that's why it gets messier than what his actual age is based on how many years he's been alive. I don't know. It's a mess. Could they do it, though? Certainly. Let's see, Dram. In the beginning, when they had that new Executive Order Protocol 13 thing, was a reference to Rogue One where the IMSA evacuated Jet Hub before the Death Star blew the city up. Ah, is that what the protocol was? Okay. Yep. Planet's usually not going to last long. Sportan, you're guessing maybe Ezra will be controlled by Thrawn? First giving a real lightsaber fight for a second. That's interesting. Why, though? Why would Ezra be controlled by Thrawn? I can't find a great reason for that. Let's see. See Chopper and Rogue One. Here they call Hera in the background, and you can actually see the Ghost in there twice at least in the battle. And I said I noticed that just the last time I watched Rogue One back a month ago, 2 months ago, somewhere in there, somewhere in that time frame. I said I was able to spot the Ghost at least twice. I don't know. It might be in there more times than that. It's just a very background thing, but you see it in there. Rumored that Mena Massoud, yes. I mean, there's a lot of good rumor. It's because, in part, Mena Massoud himself put a quote from Ezra Bridger over onto his Instagram. So, I mean, that's where I think all the rumors coming from. I don't think there's any rumor outside of that yet. But, yes, or Street Rat playing a Lothar Rat right there. Which, yeah, I'm good with Mena Massoud playing the part. I mean, I think he'd do a good job with it right there. Let's see, fun fact, Chopper is voiced by Dave Filoni. Oh, okay. I think I might have heard that before somewhere. Nice. You saw it 6 or 7 times. Wow, the Ghost is in Rogue One 6 or 7 times. That's impressive. I mean, even the 2 times I caught it, it's not like it's super obvious, but, it's visible. It's like, that is a lot of time sitting in there. I'm impressed. Dram doing some interesting math there on Age of Rex, it sounds like. In Revenge of the Sith, Rex is 13. Do we know that? I mean, we know he's one of the first batch of clones because he was in Geonosis for the fight. And what, they age up the clones in 5 years, right? Isn't it a 5-year process for the Geonosian clones? Kaminoan clones. Why did I say Geonosian? Because I was talking about the Battle of Geonosis right before that. That's probably why my brain did that. Anyway, 10 years, okay. Which is why 13, okay. Because the 10 years to Geonosis, 3 years after that to Revenge of the Sith, so 13 there. Yeah, okay. Still not quite sure entirely where you're getting the math there. Let's see. Are you using actual age and questions on how fast people are aging in there? Is that part of what's going on that? I wonder if that's part of what's going on there. Because otherwise, we're 10 ABY in Mandalorian, if my memory serves, because we're 5 years post Endor, I think. So we're 10 ABY there. Sith is 19 BBY, so we get another 29 years, which really means Rex at the time of Mandalorian is somewhere on the order of being, what is that, 42? In actual years that he's lived. Right? Did I do my math right? 29 plus 13, yeah. So, I mean, he's... Yeah. If you figure that the aging is always doubled, though. I mean, it's not like we have a definitive answer on that, to my knowledge. I mean, we know they're aged up quicker at the beginning, but I don't know that that's supposed to technically still hold later in their lives, too, though. Do we? Like we've seen no evidence to contradict. Although that sounds like an easy answer to be able to then put something in later if you wanted certain clones not to keep aging super fast. True. 25 to 30 show looks 50 to 60. Yeah, I can grant that. Well, maybe he sits a lot in a bacta tank after this, and that helps right there. Goes to a planet that, moves slower through time than other planets. I mean, if Filoni wants a way and an excuse to do it, I'm sure he can find one. It's like I'm not worried about his ability to find one of many potential excuses to make it work. What we'll end up seeing? Yeah, that'll be a completely different question because I'm not sure what we'll end up doing. As long as it's not the twin sons of Tatooine. Yeah, that might go the wrong direction there. He seemed to age faster on Tatooine. We won't talk about what happens over on Dagobah either right there. Oh, yeah. That is sequel trilogy, to be sure. Supposed to be a clone of Palpatine. But apparently one that can't wield the Force, I guess. I couldn't tell you anything about aging or anything there. I don't know if there's any comments about aging or not being existent in that. I have no idea on that one. So sorry, but I can't give any info on that one right there. Oh, so let me jump up the piece again. So next live stream for Rebels will be a final character ranking, and I'll do that in 3 weeks actually, because 2 weeks from today is the 4th of July, and I will have a different video on that, but also, well, probably be busy, so so not that Sunday. Sunday after that. So good finale, that's for sure. Definitely enjoyed it. No ifs, ands, or buts there. Perfect? No, of course not. Man, the whole World Between Worlds is such an interesting, messy thing as to what it brings into all of this. It's like there's so much you can do because that is canon if you want to do it. Oh man, if there's not a lot you can do with that. Favorite episode of the 4? Tricky. Well, it's pretty easy to say it's not the first or the third of the bunch, which are more set up for the ones that came right after them in each case. So really, it's comparing the twice as long finale, which kind of has a bit of an unfair advantage because it's twice as long, versus the World Between Worlds, which actually has the ability to compete with it just because of everything that it's got going on in there. I think I probably lean toward the finale when it comes to it. That retroactively could change. Depending on what gets done with the World Between Worlds in the future of Star Wars, I retroactively could have a different opinion, and maybe that one will be a little higher. Because there was a lot of fun stuff done in that one, and I definitely enjoyed it. Music was beautiful in it, too. But I'm going to have to go with the finale over top. Which would not be my favorite bit of Rebels, either. I mean, there's been a few spots that probably rank up a little higher when it comes to it. Let's see. I wanted to be honest, I thought Ahsoka would actually pop in there, at some point in the finale. And I'm not disappointed that she didn't. It would have taken a little away from the rest of our group if she had kind of come to the rescue at that point. So I think it's better that she didn't go ahead and do that. So I'm glad that's the move they made. Oh, and Fabian's got to go. And John. So I'll see you both later on that, in a few weeks probably at the latest, if not on any of the other live streams or videos or anything else in between. Kevin looking for more time travel things we could do. All kinds of time travel abilities. Interesting. With gyroscope there. It's one way you could go about it. So the sequel trilogy takes place in the timeline where Ahsoka was killed by Vader on Malagor. Back to, that's part of what you could do if you wanted. You could say, well, this is this alternate timeline, and here's the EU, which comes off of this timeline. And yes, you can make a whole multiverse if you wanted to do it. Again, that is where I caught reference to that episode. That is the one reference spot that I'd heard to World Between Worlds, was just in a couple offhand, not really offhand comments, people who write things about that kind of idea. But I got pulled away from those at any time when I caught that. It's like, yeah, okay, don't touch that. So other than the fact that I knew the episode had something to do with time and changing things or multiverse or something, beyond that I didn't know much of anything about it, so. Yeah, I can see that, Dram. The de-aging between the Hundo and, the Gamoran there. A little too kitty. Not Gamoran. Tinier. What are they? Shoot. Anyway. Yeah, I can see that. There were a number of other things that were doing that, too. The lack of killing people, for instance. I mean, that always hurts. It just does. And we really went out of the way in the episode before last and the last episode to make it so we didn't actually visibly see even stormtroopers die. More so than it felt like we usually do. And so that actually, I thought, had a little more of that feel as well. Yeah, the spotlight was for Ezra. Talking about the finale there? I think we're talking about the finale. Maybe we're talking World Between Worlds, because Ezra definitely got a highlight there too. So maybe we're talking about that. Still a better ending than Game of Thrones. Well, that is setting the bar pretty low right there. I look forward to when the books finally end. I mean, this is jumping subjects a little bit. Sure, I'll touch it just a little. Game of Thrones as a show diverged a long ways from what the books would do as an ethos, too. For instance, let's comment about Jon Snow. I mean, George R. R. Martin's not exactly the kind of guy to bring people back to life. But anywho. And of course, the creators of the show famously were getting tired of doing the show by the end of it, so yeah, it's a mess. Talking about how Ahsoka didn't show up. Oh, okay. Yeah. The spotlight was for Ezra. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'd say Ezra and the rest of the crew. Because, again, it just takes away from all of them if she shows up in there. Essentially, we make her the Deus Ex Machina if that happens. And that's messy. Rather than them as the crew going ahead and solving their own problem. Barrett Dondarrion's a bit of a different issue, though. A little bit of a different issue there, Jerem. More to the point is George R. R. Martin wouldn't bring somebody back to life just because, hey, they're popular with the fans. That is the opposite of the ethos of what he does. That's my point. And most of the time that Beric Dondarrion was brought back to life was before he even ever appeared. And then he's brought back after that. But it's not because he's popular with the fans or I want to keep this character I really have gotten attached to alive or something like that. That's more to my point. And that's the reason Jon Snow came back in the show. Was because he was incredibly popular with the fans. Wasn't because it happened in the books. Books never had... Well, the books didn't get to that point, so you can't argue whether it happened in the books or not. It never had the chance of happening yet. But, to put it simply, I would be incredibly surprised if it happened in the books. Well, that too, Dram, but again, it's just not the way he writes the books. I mean, this is George R. R. Martin who says, oh, well, that character's really popular with everyone. Well, they get to die now. I mean, he has at least a quote or two that is exactly like that. That because a character became too popular, he killed the character off. This is not the George R. R. Martin that brings a character back to life because he's super popular. And I love the ethos of doing that. And you can get away with it because you're showing a thing from numerous perspectives. It makes it a lot easier to do that. As opposed to one person perspective that you take all the way through. That's really hard to go ahead and kill off your main character because you've then got to go ahead and switch off to someone else. Well, even if the spirit didn't die off, that's different, though. As we get way off a field into Game of Thrones here. or Song of Ice and Fire, depending on whether you're an original books fan or show fan. Anyway. Anywho. Let's see, what else? Talk about Rebels here. It's gonna be interesting doing a final ranking. I won't talk too much about that because I'll do it in a few weeks, but... And I will get those regular videos out over the next few weeks, so that way anybody who wants to see those before I get to the character ranking, at least they'll be out. I do question a couple characters and what's going to happen to them because of the character ranking. Sabine's the one I worry most about. Season 4 was not good to her. Let's see. It's like different. Yeah, I hear you, Jerem. Kevin, are you asking if I saw Godzilla vs. Kong? Is that what you're asking? Answer is no, I have not. Not in any rush to either, frankly. Sportin. Wonder if Thrawn will be the overall next villain for the Mando era. Yeah, that's my guess too. We talked about how there's going to be a event link up, and so Mando, maybe Book of Boba as well, and Ahsoka and Rangers would all lead into a big crossover event. But Thrawn certainly has the ability to be that giant character right there. So I'm assuming that's where that's going. Definitely assuming that's where we're headed with it. Did I end up being satisfied with Kallus overall? Yeah. We didn't do a lot with them in the end. After he got brought into the rebellion fully, we didn't see much more with him. The little epilogue piece felt a little forced to me. I think that's... Like, I didn't need that forced piece of Kallus finding out, oh, good. At least I didn't completely genocide all of them. I only genocided a bunch of them. Or helped. It also rang false to me. It's not that, hey, good, there's still a number of you alive. It's all good now. I have nothing to feel bad about. It's like, yeah, you do. You still were part of a genocide of a whole people anyway. That's why it rang false to me. But yeah, aside from that, I've enjoyed Kallus in the last bit. He just didn't have much to do after we brought him to the rebellion, and that's okay. I mean, there's only so much time for the different characters. Again, just like a lot of other people, I'd love to see a little more follow-up on what happens to them later. Like, what happens to Kallus now at this point? Does he get involved heavily in some of the different fights? Maybe he dies in Rogue One? I don't know. Although apparently he wouldn't, because he went off to the planet with the rest of them. They're very forgiving people. I guess we do have Zeb to speak for him at this point. But it's an interesting end. He just goes off to live with them in the end. It's an interesting choice. Anyway, epilogues can be funky sometimes. But yeah, I'd be curious to see, because even then, that's years later potentially, so we have plenty of time to play with Kallus during the main portion of the rebellion, and I don't, books or whatever could probably fill in some more on that. That would be my thought there. Anyway, so he has to work with the New Republic to defeat someone from the unknown regions. Yeah. I'll be honest, I also don't hope to see Yu Song Vong pop into a show like that. I don't think there's space for it, if we're talking about something along those lines. Yes, I still genocide your people, but hey, I'm going to go live on your planet. Yeah. What would be my live action cast for the show? In the time where the show took place. You mean the age of the anime piece, not like I have to go back like 10 years or whatever to the beginning of when the show started airing and find actors from that period, right? I don't think you mean it that way. See, because now I can no longer have Mena Masada as Ezra because I have to go much younger for Ezra, which gets trickier too. I don't know enough people, and I can't think of actors of that age to go ahead and even try to cast Ezra. Not off the top of my head, anyway. Yeah, nothing's popping top of my head for Ezra. This is not exactly my strength, is going into me like in fan casting things. I'd have to spend more time on it. That's my trick. Like some of the talk on Hera wouldn't be much different. I mean, you could still probably cast the same person for Hera now in Mandalorian time as you could back there. But no, fan casting has never been my strength. I mean, if I've been thinking about it already and running some things through my head, then maybe I've got a little more that can help with somebody like wrong direction. There we go. Somebody like Thrawn, since there's been more talk about that and I've had more time to think about it. But I mean, like, pop in some names on yourself and I can make some comments on that. I'm much better at that. But it's not one of my strengths. It would just take me more work to fan cast. I have strengths in other spots. Just too many people. I'm going to jump somewhere else to this other comment, then pop back, maybe. Kind of unrelated question. If they're retconning some Star Wars books for the shows, do I think that we can possibly see Ventress show up in Bad Batch or something? Maybe. I don't know. Again, technically, the book is canon. Their retconning has been much smaller than a retcon to that degree. I mean, the retcon they did in the first episode, again, yes, they retconned a little, but it was a smaller degree of retcon. Same with a retcon talking about what they might have done with the Rancor, which they seem to have taken back or fixed or whatever. So at least we had in. But even that would be a smaller one than saying, guess what? That entire book, that didn't happen. Ventress isn't dead. She's still alive. I don't think we'd do that. I think it's too big of a retcon to easily do unless Filoni really, really wanted to bring Ventress back in. And if he really did, I don't think the fact a book is there would stop him from doing it. Just like it wouldn't have stopped George Lucas from doing it. And I think Dave Filoni fits in that mold right there. The one other advantage, and the other reason I don't think Filoni would do it on Ventress specifically, though, is because it is a Clone Wars arc that was written, that was put together in part by him, and also because the Clone Wars arc means I assume Lucas would still have been involved on that. Question mark. Because that's later in the show. So I assume Lucas still would have been involved in some of the scripting of that one, but I'm not sure if he had any oversight of that or not. So if Lucas was involved in the oversight of it, then no, I don't think Filoni would retcon it. Put it that way. And I don't know the answer to that question. If it was just his own work, they'd be more willing to retcon it. So, yeah. Somebody might have an answer to that question, might not. I don't really have any idea. But yeah, fan casting. Fan casting Rebels, huh? Just see. What do some people have some thoughts on for fan casting Star Wars Rebels, huh? So that way I can just make some comments on people and what their thoughts would be. Be like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Dev Patel as Ezra Bridger. I mean, while I like Dev Patel, I think he's a little old for the part, though. Dominic Purcell as Zeb. Well, that's fun. I mean, I can see Dominic Purcell play Zeb. Let me pop this up. Maybe that would work better. There we go. So I was just looking at this over here. I mean, I could see Dominic Purcell play Zeb. That could be fun. Let's see. Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan. I'm just not seeing that one. That one's not working for me. I mean, this one's the obvious. Of course, you'd want to cast Tamara Morrison as Rex. Or Rosario, of course. It's done a year ago. Ian Glenn as Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's interesting. That's not one of the names I've heard pop up for Thrawn in the past. Ian Glenn as Thrawn. Huh. I mean, he might be able to pull it off. Maybe. Maybe. Colm Feore as the Grand Inquisitor. I'm not really feeling that one. That one's not coming across for me there. Brenda Song as Sabine. What has Brenda Song done? Not familiar enough off the top of my head. Cameron Diaz as Hera? Oh god, no, I don't see that at all. That is not working for me. I don't see Cameron Diaz as Hera. Sorry, not seeing that one. So that again, you can look at some of these and get some thoughts, but I can say some of those, yeah, okay, I can see that, and some that are, yeah, not even close. Let's see. Now, I don't know that I know Brenda Song at all, really. I was trying to look and see if I might know her now. I can't make any comments on her being able to play Sabine because I don't know her from anything. Who knows? Maybe I'll put up a video fan casting Rebels at some point, but that'll take a little more me looking into different possibilities, and it'll take some more time. Definitely take some more time right there. So, we'll see what we see. Andy Serkis as Zeb. Oh, he's got the voice to pull it off. And Andy Serkis can do a lot of things. Chloe Bennett as Sabine. Ooh. Chloe Bennett as Sabine. Interesting. She could definitely pull that role off. I don't know if she's the right pick, but she could definitely pull it off. Yeah, anyway. What else have I missed over here for all of you talking here? As the Disney Plus expert here, what are my tips for the best Disney Plus movies that I can watch on a train journey tomorrow? Wow, that's tricky. The only problem is that takes knowing what all is there, too, because there's a big catalog of movies sitting on Disney Plus at this point in time. Obviously, you got a good bit of the MCU on there, too. I mean, are you looking for new movies, old movies? I mean, that makes a difference. Are you wanting to see things you've already seen? See things that are new to you? See things that are decades old? See things that are in the last decade? Tricky. Animated or not animated? Answer me some of those. Maybe I'll see what I can pop. Let's see. Sportan in the meantime. True, same thing for the last character that popped in. The original Fate could be brought up just at a different time, like now. Oh, the Bad Batch. Yeah, it could be. It's like, I'll agree with you on that, Sportan. Yes, we could go ahead and find an ability to go ahead and bring her back in if we just move the timeline a little. I'm not sure how much the book made a timeline clear or not on anything. But, yeah. Certainly, it would be possible to see Ventress pop up, in that kind of sense. As long as we're not retconning the ending of it, then yeah. That might be possible. Maybe. I'm not sure. I said I haven't read the book, and I don't know all the details there, so I don't know enough to know how tight it is into the time that it was supposed to take place. So, maybe. Jason Isaacs as the Grand Inquisitor. Yes, Jason Isaacs. I remember that popping up before as a thought there. But, Jason Isaacs as Grand Inquisitor would be good. Yes, I'm a fan. Jamie Alexander as a fan casting looks better for Hera. Jamie Alexander. I gotta go pop the name up, because I am not popping her up without, even though I know the name. It's like I know the name, but I gotta go look anyway. Oh, right, Sif. Oh, and I see you wrote Lady Sif right below. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, she could definitely play Frilly then. Yeah. What else do I know her from other than that? Yeah, I've seen some smaller parts and anything else, huh? Well, anyway. Point being. Yeah. Sportan, I'm assuming you're probably going ahead and referring to Chloe Bennett there for Sabine. That must be, I assume that at the time that you wrote that. Sorry, catching things later. Talking about it afterward. Andrea, I'm saying it's Disney Plus. You know most of the older movies there. You've watched all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. So something from Pixar, Disney would be great. Maybe something from the last 10 years. Okay. Well, I mean, Pixar's Soul is up there. And that's just as of, a half year ago now. I mean, depending whether you're up on that. I mean, Soul is debatably, I think, the best Pixar movie they've ever made. Debatably. I still debate it with Toy Story 3, but... but Soul is the most mature of any Pixar movie, and still very much a Pixar movie at the same time. So, certainly I definitely note that. That one's an easy one to put up there. Disney, Raya should be up and available at this point. No longer be under the Premier Access, I don't think. So, looking at Disney for animation, that's up and available now. If you've never seen Hamilton, go take a look at Hamilton. That's up. They put that up last year. So, an actual recording of the Broadway play. Good recording, too, actually. They use the multiple camera angles and use it well. Sportan, you still haven't watched Soul. Yeah, watch Soul. Soul is good. Soul is definitely good. I would definitely recommend that. Oh, the only Pixar ones you watched within the last couple of years are Incredibles 2 and Finding Dory. Wow, okay, yeah. Then there's a few at least in there then. I didn't think Onward or Luca were as good. But they're not bad or anything. They're enjoyable. I mean, that's so as far as those ones are concerned. I mean, they're the other two most recent of the bunch. Oh, actually, if you haven't... Let's see. You're saying you haven't seen anything in the last couple of years. Well, maybe you haven't seen Coco. If you haven't seen Coco, catch that. Because that's also since Finding Dory came out. But Coco's good. Coco's really good. And also beautifully animated. Whew. Dang if it's not. So definitely Coco. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Dodo, was Adventures died in the Clone Wars time period, which makes it messy. Sportan, you're saying that they have less of an impact compared to the older movies. You mean emotional impact, I'm assuming? Certainly, if we're talking about Onward and Luca, yeah, definitely less emotional impact, I think. I mean, Onward certainly more emotional impact than Luca by a considerable bit, considering the topic. Toy Story 4, I didn't like as much. Mainly because of what we did with our characters as a whole. It mainly became the Woody and Buzz Lightyear show, and we didn't really see much of the other characters, the newer ones or the older ones. And that was... It's really not the ethos of most of our Toy Story movies, so if we're going to talk about that. I mean, they've always been very ensemble in nature. Yeah, sure, they're more Woody, but they're still more ensemble than 4 was. Although the animation... compare that 4 to 1. It's a huge difference in animation. WALL-E's probably your favorite Pixar movie. Oh, that is... WALL-E is good. Yes. No ifs, ands, or buts right there, Dram. I mean, one of the most different of the Pixar movies. Back in the time period where really all of them were very experimental and much more different from each other, too. It's before Disney pushed them into Toy Story 3. Not that I'm complaining that Disney did, considering how it turned out. But they've certainly put out a lot more sequels, prequels since that point in time. So yeah. So if we're talking that on Pixar in that last period, definitely check out Coco. Definitely check out Soul. And I mean, the others aren't bad or anything. Just not necessarily as good. I mean, if we're talking Disney animated movies. Again, Raya was good. I mean, I don't know how far back we're talking. Frozen 2 I enjoyed. That was 2019, so. But I mean, we're talking about things I imagine you might have seen or might not have at this point. So, as for live action things that will be on Disney Plus, man, but I ranked like the top movies I thought and shows. Didn't I? Or did I just rank one of them? I know I put out a video on one of those two subjects back... I think I did both. Back around the end of the year, beginning of this year, I went ahead and did that. Let's see. I remember doing that. I did a best shows and a best... Yeah, I did best show and best films that came out, so I actually do have a video on both of those. Those were just the Disney Plus things I should know, not necessarily just anything, but let's see. That one is best films on Disney Plus, and that one is best shows. And it's not everything. It's the things that were, the Disney Plus original films in its first year. So I did do that and went through some of those. One should note that I enjoyed Mulan as live action. Not to say it didn't have its problems, but I did enjoy it. And of course, my best films include short films, because I didn't put out a lot of films on there, really. If you're into a documentary, Howard was a really good documentary on Howard Ashman. As I said, definitely really enjoyed that. So if you're in that mindset there, and I assume you know the name Howard Ashman, as a famous lyrics composer, playwright too, even for that matter. Heck, in many ways, the Disney Renaissance probably never would really have happened if he didn't exist. Even though he died fairly shortly into it, but I mean, you talk Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast. I mean, that's Howard Ashman's period. He died before they all finished coming out, but Menken went ahead and finished that because the two of them had worked together. Jojo Rabbit's on Disney Plus in Germany. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, see, that gets to the bigger trick among commenting on what's on there, and also depending on what you have on your Disney Plus in that sense too. I still haven't seen Jojo Rabbit's high on my list to go ahead and watch, but I have not yet seen it. So definitely on my list to go ahead and see. If you're into something different, also show-wise, Earth to Net, if you're into something that's spoofing late-night talk shows while also kind of being one. Earth to Net was fun. That's a show, not a movie, though. But there's, 20 episodes up now? So definitely can catch that. That was a load of fun. Yeah, you use a VPN for shows and movies. Yes, that's the right way to do it. Because you get a much better selection if you do. So, I mean, it's tricky because there's a ton up there, and it's hard to say, if you're really looking at everything. Because, again, remember, they bought Fox out, so they have an incredible number of movies and shows now because of that. It's an interesting video to make. What are the best movies on there? Maybe I'll do a video on it sometime. Although that's going to be a beast of a video to make because I'd have to look through so much. Beast of a video. Okay. Let's see. Anything else on Rebels before we start dropping out for today? Anybody got anything else that direction here? So, let's see. Next live stream for Rebels will be in 3 weeks, July 11th. I'll go ahead and do a final character ranking. I'll be getting out the normal regular videos that I'm behind on in the next few weeks before then. We'll do a retrospective the week after that. And somewhere after that, I think Clone Wars will be next. We'll do the other Clone Wars animated series. And then Resistance. And I'll also want all your opinions about if there's anything that you think is live stream worthy within the Resistance or not at all. Who knows? I don't know. So let me know on all that kind of stuff, and we will talk then. I'll definitely see you in the comments. I'll see you on the other videos. Heck, we've got more Loki coming up, more Bad Batch coming up, and tomorrow more Gravity Falls too, for that matter. So all kinds of stuff coming up. And next Sunday will be the monthly movie watch for the month. So my Patreons will be voting on that here shortly to see what movie will be being watched next Sunday. So yeah, all kinds of stuff coming up. Well, anyway, until then, let me go ahead and say the usual for everybody. It's going to be that time. Because I don't see anything else popping up really quickly there for anything else on Rebels there. So, until next time, everyone, let me go ahead and say, have a magical day, and may the Force be with you. Always.